Hey guys, it's Tuesday. It's puck time, the best hockey betting show on the planet. I'm Lawrence Presman, honored to be hosting this show. Dave Cokin, the legend himself, joining us out of the blue. Alex couldn't make the show, so Dave is stepping in, and of course, Carmine, the bold man, Bianco. Lots of hockey games today. We're going to take apart 4 games in depth. And then we're going to look at the rest of the card in the last minute of play. Also, a ton of promos for you. I hope you enjoy this show. Let's bring the guests in. Dave, let's start with you, brother. I can't thank you enough. I mean, absolutely. What did you have? 1 minute notice?
Yeah, but my hockey works. You know, I do my preliminary work the night before and start catching up during the day. So it's not a big deal for me.
Excellent. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled you're a part of the show. Carm, fun night last night. Me and you went to play a poker tournament. I came 4th, cashed. Brutal beat, though. Just brutal.
Yeah. It was a fun tournament. I finished 6th in it.
What was the beat? I got to find now. You can't tell me
so we get down to 4 people, Dave, and we all have roughly the same amount of chips. And the tournament it pays very top heavy, $2,500 to the first place, $300 to the 4th place. So a massive difference. And I said to the guys, hey guys, we're all the same. Let's just split the money up and we all make 2nd place money and get to go home. 3 of the guys said yes, and well, one of the guys, the kid, said no. 2 hands later, I get Jack 8. 4 guys playing. I'm big blind. He's small blind. He has a pair of aces. And all he does is call. So he slow plays the aces. Flop comes 4, Jack 8. I bet. He raises. I shove all in. He calls. Hits the 4 on the river.
Better 2 pair. Yeah, it sucks.
It happens, boys. Anyway, let's get to it. Real quick, Alex B. Smith, you can find him at sportsmemo.com. He's on an 11-3 hockey run. I took $300 off of his season and playoffs. You can get his NHL season and playoffs for only $395. Use the promo code ALEX395. That's Alex395. $300 off of his NHL season and playoffs, and we have a couple of more promotions coming up during the show. Boys, let's get straight to it. Some fun games tonight. Vancouver on the road playing Tampa Bay, and 2 teams that are really playing high-level hockey right now. And Vancouver finds themselves at a plus 170 dog. Tampa Bay minus 200. The over and under is 6.5 in this hockey game. And well, Dave, I'll go to you first. You know, it's tough to play against Vancouver in the middle of this streak that they're on. They've won 7 straight. And it's hard to play against Tampa Bay in the middle of their streak that they're on, as they've won 7 straight. I can't lay 200 here. No. But the thing is, I do like Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is really putting some great hockey together right now. And you know, I'm not going to play this game, but if I did, I would probably take Tampa Bay in regulation.
Yeah, you just made the case for both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Vancouver's on a roll right now, and Tampa, we know what they're capable of. They won the President's deal last year, and they're looking like last year's team now. It looks like they finally have gotten rid of that hangover that was, I think, definitely impacting them from the disappointment of the playoffs last year through the first couple months of the season. They're now playing lightning hockey. It's just too tough a spot for Vancouver, but at the same time, $2 or thereabouts is too much to lay against a team that's on a winning streak like the Canucks. So it looks like a close game to me, but I think Tampa wins it, but unwilling to lay the price.
Yeah, so we're on the same page. And guys, don't be fearful of taking these regulation bets. I actually prefer them over the regular bets, which include overtime. So that's really where I lean, and I think Dave is okay with that bet too.
Well, I am, although bear in mind that a lot of books don't offer regulation bets.
Well, I mean, you know, ultimately that's not our problem.
No, but it's not it's not as widely available as, for instance, here in Las Vegas. Not on the board. It just isn't out there. So it makes it difficult for some.
That it does. And guys, I mean, if that's the case, a -1.5 is an acceptable bet, but
I think you go the -1. You can always create a -1 by basically taking your unit and slicing it in half, with half the play on the straight money line and half the play on the -1.5. So it reduces liability, and it also, in many cases, will get you a little bit of plus money on the back end.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Carmine, I had Tampa Bay a few nights ago against Detroit. -1.5. They were tied 3-3 with a minute and change to go. Scored with like 45 seconds left to make it 4-3, and got the empty netter with 7 seconds to go. So that was a great amount of drama. So much drama on Saturday, it was insane. What do you like in this game, Carm?
I'm on Tampa here. I like regulation time. I had Tampa, I think it was last Thursday, as a 5% play in Montreal, where they won 2-1. They were a very short price. And I think I mentioned in my write-up, they have a very favorable schedule, and it's kind of like what David just mentioned. I think they're now over, that long-lasting sweep in the playoffs where they were expected to make a cup run and didn't. So it took them a while to get going, but I've been waiting all year for them to get going. I said once they started to win, just jump on the train, because when you bet with the streak, you can only lose once. And right now that it's 7-0, I understand Vancouver's doing really well, but they're about to meet a completely different Tampa team right now. And you look at this Tampa schedule. I think I mentioned in the write-up that in looking over their schedule for January, pretty much forecasted that they can easily go 11-2 this month. Only a couple of really tough spots back-to-back when they've got to play the Winnipeg Jets. They go for 5 on the road, and they play Winnipeg after they play Minnesota on a back-to-back. But the interesting thing is they also have a 10-game, from the 17th. After they play Winnipeg on the 17th, they don't play again until the 27th, and close out with 3 games in Dallas, LA, and Anaheim, and those are all winnable games. So I think that Dallas and Winnipeg, those games are probably the only 2 possible losses on the schedule. They got the Kings and Devils, who are struggling right now, the Flyers, who can't keep goals out, and Arizona, who were playing very well on the road, not so much at the time. So it's it starts with tonight. I still think they're going to make a run, and they're going to make a run to the top of those Atlantic standings, and give Boston a run for their money. They're using up those games in hand right now, and with the Leafs dropping points like they did last night against Edmonton, it just stands. It just gives them that much more of an edge. I think when all is said and done, as well as the Bruins are playing, I still think Tampa Bay is going to win this division.
Yeah, and that's not a bad bet out there as well. Dave, just in keeping with this game, one of the things that interests me, specifically in hockey, is, when good teams play good teams. Tampa Bay, I feel, are top 3 team in hockey, and Vancouver, although on a 7-game winning streak, just aren't. And I think ultimately those are the games that we're going to see teams like Tampa Bay, Washington, St. Louis, Colorado, Boston. I think those are the games that they really step up in.
Yeah, although the downside of that is going against these teams on streaks where they're getting at least a point in regulation. Columbus has cost me some money. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Because they just keep getting at least 1 point in regulation, and that doesn't do me much good if I'm betting the other side.
Yeah, I was thinking.
They got me again. They got me again last night, by the way. Although this time was regulation. The Kings were a bet for me. The Kings were 9-0 at home for the season after leading after the first period, and that streak is now over.
Yeah, I was thinking about Columbus on my drive this morning. Seth Jones for Willie Nylander. I think it helps everybody.
Yeah, well, Columbus isn't that stupid.
Hey, Willie is
not for. I know Nylander. Yeah, I know Nylander's playing really well, but
Throw in a first rounder. We don't need him.
Okay, well, maybe then they'll.
Yeah,
Not going to happen.
I think there's something there. Anyway, let's get into this Colorado game.
The game of the night.
They're on the road. They're minus 150 playing the New York Rangers. And, the Rangers are on a 3-game losing streak, but they have been playing better hockey. They lost to Vancouver 2-1. They lost to Calgary 4-3. They lost to Edmonton 7-5 in what could have been the comeback of the year. Prior to that, they won 2 games. Colorado lost last night to the New York Islanders, and if you listened to the show yesterday, we mentioned it was a tough spot for Colorado. They were on a back-to-back. My lean here is on Colorado. They put up a duck last night, 0, and I think we're going to get some goals out of them. I'm going to go to you first, Carm. I do lean on Colorado, but they're not going to get my money.
Yeah, it's a big price to lay, and as Dave said, it's an interesting game here. I honestly don't think there's not much travel, obviously, in playing back to back, and
it's like down the road.
And yeah, well, exactly, and these guys had a lot of time off, during that sort of Christmas break. The interesting thing is, and let's see if I can pronounce this guy's name but the Rangers called up from Hartford. Shesterkin, I think I pronounced that right. Shesterkin. But listen, he played for St. Petersburg in the KHL, and he absolutely dominated it there. It was unbelievable. Playing for Hartford now, their AHL affiliate, and he's gone 15-4-3, 0.932 save percentage, and a 1.93 goals against average. And when you look at these numbers, you can't just say, well, it's the thing. Just remember, this time last year, St. Louis Blues brought up Binnington, and who was having a great time of it in the minors, brought him up, and the Blues went on a run. Am I saying the Rangers are going on a run? No, I'm not saying that. But he's going to win. He's going to win some games for the Rangers. He's their goalie of the future, essentially. Yeah. Once we get rid of Henrik and I think Dave and I talked about Georgiev probably gets moved before the trade deadline. Yeah. But for me, I don't want to lay 150. Although Colorado can. This is a tough. It's tough to put this guy in net against Colorado. Yeah. They're averaging 3.71 goals a game. But what better way to test them?
Game of the night.
Yeah, and
it is. It's the game of the night. If you're a hockey fan, this is the game you're going to watch, and it happens to be the network game. It's on NBC Sports.
Oh, is it?
Because you've got the best goalie prospect in hockey making his his NHL debut, and you've got the powerful Avalanche, who have a great offense. I know they got shut out last night, but this is a very potent offense going against them. I mean, this is a game. I'm not going to have a bet on the game. I don't know what to do with it, but it's definitely a game I want to watch. And Georgiev will definitely get traded now. He's too good a goaltender to be a number 2. I think that they'll get a deal from somebody who thinks he can become a number 1. And the most interesting team to
Edmonton.
Me is Nashville.
Oh, Nashville.
I think it's Nashville. Well, no, Edmonton could also be a possibility, but I think they kind of like Koskinen somewhat. But Nashville is going to do some stuff before the deadline. They didn't just fire LaViolette for the hell of it. I think they're going to make one last push. And, with Rene very shaky at this point, and Saros is just a backup to me. To me, they look like a team that could be anxious to make a move. So we'll see.
Guys, really quickly, and we're going to run this promo all week long. If you get Carmine Bianco's soccer for the entire year, and man, Dave, I don't know if you bet Carmine soccer plays, but this dude knows soccer.
Yeah, he doesn't send them to me. I'd have to buy him.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a discount.
I'm going to start sending them to Dave.
Yeah, okay. So Carmine Soccer, you buy an entire season of Carmine Soccer and you get the rest of his hockey season and playoffs for free. No promo code required. Just purchase Carmine's entire soccer year and email Missy at wagertalk.com. That's MISSY at wagertalk.com. Let her know you purchased his soccer, and she will hook you up with his NHL season and playoffs. And Carm, I know you had Toronto last night, -1.5.
Yeah.
They lost, but you're on a huge run, right? 12-3 or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was like 11-3-1 or something like that. But it's starting to heat up. With the turn of the year and sort of going to soccer really quickly, it's now, and I'm coming to Vegas and I'll be shooting some videos for the Champions League knockout stages start, the Europa League, and the last 2-3 years I've been up big units in those knockout stages. Did extremely well with them, including picking the winners of the finals, and then
Qatar.
obviously the EPL seasons. Yeah, the EPL seasons. But more importantly
Qatar.
is in the summer when all there is left is baseball. And I'm not saying baseball is terrible, but
Don't
when
you
you're
dare.
looking,
Don't you dare say baseball's
no.
terrible.
Listen, our team here is terrible. We just overpaid for that pitcher from the Dodgers, Ryu, but in Toronto,
Thought it was a great signing.
If he stays healthy, he's a big plus.
Yeah, he's a beast, dude.
But the health is an issue.
Okay, well, we're going to save that for first pitch.
But going back to in the summer, the biggest European thing is the Euro 2020s, similar to the World Cup, but just European teams. We keep everyone else out of it, the South Americans and the North Americans and the Asians and whatever. I don't want to be racist here. It's just the European Euro 2020s, and you'll get obviously all of those plays. So it gives you something else to bet during the summer if you're looking for something to go alongside baseball. But we're going to heat up at some point.
That's a great sales pitch. At some point, we're going to heat up.
No, well, no.
That's
is,
right there, dude. That's.
Right now,
I mean, you were doing so good until that line came out of your mouth.
But the thing is, right now for this week, and this is what I mean by it, this week there is no soccer because a lot of the
so when you say we're going to heat up, you
break.
actually mean soccer's going to start again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It starts.
You know
actually,
what, Carm?
it starts this
Enough.
weekend. EPL
Enough.
Starts. So.
You're really good in soccer. You're really good in hockey. If you buy his soccer for $9.99, you get his hockey for free till the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And we're going to finish plus units in all of
Yes,
them.
of course you will. We all know that. Nashville, Dave.
Oh, boy.
I like that you call him Peter LaViolette. That's a strong nickname.
Laviolette.
They are hosting the Boston Bruins tonight, boys, and
We don't even know the coach.
no, but we do know that Boston has lost 3 games in a row, and coming down to earth in Nashville, they've lost 4 of their last 5.
I'll jump in and say this. We kind of called this with Nashville. LaViolette, I don't know what took them so long. It was clear that the team had tuned him out. Okay, and he's got a track record. This is his track record where he's been. He immediately improves teams when he gets there. But after a few years, as is the case with a lot of coaches, the message stops getting through. And if you've watched the Predators this year, they've got so many flaws. Their special teams are absolutely terrible. Second straight year, they've been awful on the power play. The penalty kill isn't any better this year. It's in the 70s. The goaltending has slipped. I don't think that you can pin that on the coach. Rene just looks like he got old, and the other guy's, he's a good backup, but that's it. But I think we got to see what Nashville brings tonight in terms of intensity. I want to see if there's those earmarks of a team that might go on a run once they name an interim coach, because that can happen. I mean, there are some capabilities on this team. But I want to watch tonight and see if they look like a team that's got some fire in their eyes, or if they just look completely, struck by what's going on. We'll learn a lot in this Nashville game tonight. I'm not going to play it.
Dave, I'm going to jump in just for a second, just to give you an update. But the Nashville Predators named the Devils' former coach.
They did.
This morning.
Yeah, Hines. Yeah.
Okay, that was the rumor. That didn't.
They tried to get Bill Belichick, but he was busy.
Well, again, this is a good game for me to watch, because if I see some fire on the Predators, I'll jump on them for the next couple weeks. Now, to me, their roster is not that good, and they'll eventually regress. Maybe they're not to where they've been playing lately, but to middle of the pack level. But you could get, and this happens with teams when they change coaches, you could get a real spike for a couple weeks where you get 4 or 5 wins out of the Predators in rapid fire fashion, and you can build your bankroll doing that. So I want to see what they bring tonight. And if you want to take a shot, I would take.
Yeah, and Dave, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we saw it with Calgary when they got their new coach, and we saw it with Toronto. I think Nashville's the play tonight. Myself, I will be betting them. It's plus 104, so you're looking at a pick. I also like the over in this game, Dave. 5.5. I think we're going to get some scoring. Carm, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you took my overplay for me. I'm on the over. I took the over 5.5. I was hoping we wouldn't see a 6. I didn't think we'd see a 6, but now I'm believing more and more. But as we get closer to game time, just because the juice on the 5.5 over is up to like 125 right now. Once it gets closer to minus 130, that flips to about a 6, and then
we're seeing a 6. I'm seeing 1 6, 2 6s now.
Yeah, I think if you can still get 5.5, you're watching this show, I would take it. Normally, with a team like Nashville, let's say coming off a 4-game road trip, coming home with their first game at home, I might try and fade them. I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm just going to stick with the total. Nashville had a road trip towards the end of December. Eastern road trip, came home, and you couldn't fade them there. They beat Arizona 3-2, but then lost a couple days later to Pittsburgh 5-2. So I'm more inclined to lead into the total here, just because the goaltending for Nashville has been shaky. Whether it's Saros, and I watched Saros the other night. He just seems like a small goalie to me.
It's just too. In the book's out on him. I mean,
yeah,
you saw in the
high.
shootout. Go up high. Yeah,
go up high on him. He just he likes that butterfly. Go down, butterfly. It's kind of like the old Alan Bester butterfly.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't think an Alan Bester. I don't think an Alan Bester reference is going to work on this show. More to Yuri Sira.
Guys, Yuri Sira.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. Well, the guy fled communism. So one of the funny stories, Lawrence, you're gonna laugh at this, but one of my friends back in the day, Yuri Sira, was coming to the Leafs, and the Toronto Star says Yuri Sira fled communism, and one of my friends comes running to me and says, the Leafs got a new goalie. The Leafs not a good new goalie. Fled communism. I'm like, that's not his name. His name is not fled communism. It's Yuri Sira.
That's it. That's a name from the past. Boys, we spoke about, Carmine mentioned Pittsburgh, and we're going to do that game in depth, and then we're going to get to the last minute of play. They're on the road tonight playing the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're very injured, Pittsburgh. They lost 4-1 to Florida. And Vegas, they're rolling right now, Dave. They've won 4 straight, and they're putting up goals. Their speed is taking over. They put up a 4, a 5, a 5, and a 5.
They're off their best. They're off their best rally ever, by the way. First time in franchise history against the Blues on Sunday. First time in franchise history they've come back from a 3-goal deficit to win the game.
And I don't think they had a shot until the second period. I mean, it was a really lopsided start to the game. So they got to feel really good about themselves. And they've got Pittsburgh right where they want them here, Dave. I mean, Vegas minus 150, that seems to me like a good bet.
I'm not ready to lay 150 against the Penguins in this spot because they're rested. I probably will wait till Friday. They're at Colorado on Friday, and I will tell you I'm going to be on the Avalanche in that game on Friday because the Penguins will be fitting that post-Las Vegas angle. And it'll really be the best part of it because they're staying over tonight. They're staying here on Wednesday as well. They're not flying out till either late Wednesday or Thursday to Colorado. So they are prime Vegas flu prospects on Friday. And I'll just wait for that game.
Carm, what do you like in this one?
Yeah, I don't want to lay the 155 with Vegas against this Pittsburgh team, but I will take again, going back to the regulation line. And you can get Vegas at minus 110. The funny thing about that game that Dave talked about, that was their first. That was the first win for Vegas against St. Louis, I think, lifetime in the league, which is only like 3 years or so. But I was sitting at, because obviously it was the NFL playoffs, and I'm sitting at a sports bar with one of the guys who's actually a viewer of our show, this guy Rob, and I took St. Louis Blues first period money line and parlayed it with the Buffalo Bills first half money line, and it worked out pretty good because both teams had the lead and then lost the game. So it was one of those ones that came in. But Vegas is minus 110 tonight. They're playing extremely well at home, and they're scoring goals. So I see no reason, for me anyways, not to take them in regulation time. And if you want to do one of those, if you don't have the regulation time, you can lay the $1.55 for half a unit and then take the Golden Knights at minus 1.5 plus 165. And essentially you're getting that -1 line.
He's Carmine Bianco, Dave Cokin with us. Both can be found at wagertalk.com, and so can I. Guys, I'm on a 9-2 NFL run. I'm on a 5 and
nice.
Thanks, Dave. It's been good to me. I mean, all I've been doing is fading Tom Brady, but that come.
I thought you were fading me.
Dave, you're.
The NFL is not my. You'll notice I don't talk much about my NFL.
Yes, we notice. Anyway, I'm on a 9-2 NFL run, a 5-1 NFL 5% play run. I have a 5% play up for this weekend as well, and I have a big card for this weekend, so check that out. Guys, my 5% play is $40. I put up a promo where you can get my entire NFL playoffs and Super Bowl, including all my props, for only $79. I use the promo code Prez NFL 79. That's Prez NFL 79. Boys, let's race through. Yeah, Dave?
I have to throw in, this is a non-promo because I'm
you
not going to have a
heating
big
up?
play. No, I'm not going to have, I'm going to, whatever I have in the LSU Clemson game, it's going to be small. So my college football season is basically done. But we had another really good year. And by the way, ended the Bulls on a nice run, got to 62% for the Bulls at 8-5. So, I mean, when college football rolls around next year, you might want to consider it.
Yeah, well, Dave, what I'll do is you're on the show on Thursday, so everybody listening, what we're going to do is we're going to give a seriously deep discount for Dave Cokin's college football season, and we'll combine it with your Major League Baseball. So if you guys check out the Thursday show, it'll be the Dave Cokin promo show. We'll have deep discounts on his baseball season, deep discounts on his college football season. So make sure to check that out on Thursday. Boys, let's race through this. I really just want this to go quick.
Okay.
So Washington minus $1 million against Ottawa. The total is 6.5. I think Washington minus 2.5 is in play to me. That's probably the only way I can bet this game. Dave?
Yeah, but the problem is the Capitals sometimes don't take these games very seriously, and it might take them 3 periods to get rid of Ottawa. Ottawa's going to come in fired up. They got nothing to lose. So, I mean, the Capitals should win easily, though.
Yeah, Carm?
Yeah, same here. I think Caps win easy. You can look at the Caps team total as far as goals go. I think with the injuries that the Senators have on defense, their only way to win this is to try and outscore Washington, which I don't think they'll do. So I think you have to look at the total.
Yeah,
as well.
I like the over 2 in this game. I think you're going to get 5 goals from Washington. I mean, I see a 5-2, 5-1 type of a score. That's why I like Washington at minus 2.5 with a whole ton of money in your pocket. Carolina against Philadelphia. Minus 175 for Carolina, and I'll tell you flat out, Carmine, I'll go to you first. I think Philadelphia is very live here at plus 145.
They haven't looked good on this road trip. They really haven't. They got bombed in San Jose and to start the road trip, and then they got bombed in Arizona on the 5th game of the road trip, allowing 6 goals in both of those. I'm not really sure what's wrong with this team. They're allowing a lot of goals. Other than that win against Anaheim where they won 2-1, they allowed 22 goals in the other 4 games. They're going to Carolina, who are smarting off of two home losses to Washington and Tampa Bay, two very good teams, catching them at the wrong time. I think that this is a good spot for the Canes. I don't want to lay the 170, but I will take a small play on the goal line and lay the 1.5.
Dave,
getting 145.
Carolina should win the game. It's priced too high for me to get involved in.
Arizona plus 120 against Florida, sitting at minus 140 with a total of 6. 6 is a big number for an Arizona game and a small number for a Florida game. But I like Florida.
It's a weird line. No, it's a weird line. I mean, why is this a big price for Florida? Knowing what Arizona does on the road, I don't know. I just looked at this line and said, why is this line? They're making it awfully attractive to bet Arizona here, and I don't like that. I want lines where it's like, okay, I'm not seeing obvious value here. I like more subtle value. It worries me because I like Arizona in the game, and the price seems more than right. It's going to scare me out of the game.
Yeah, Carm, to me, the problem with betting Florida here is they're back from a road trip, and I don't like betting teams on their first game back. I got to pass flat out. What do you think?
And I think that's the way to go. You've both said it. Sometimes you can look at a game and have absolutely no feel for it. Something seems wrong. Just pass on it. There's 13 other games that you can take. You don't have to bet it because it's there. Just pass on this one. I would normally fade, like you, a team coming home off of 4 games. This was an East Coast road trip for an East Coast team. So I don't think it's as taxing, but Arizona does play well, and they have looked pretty good, especially their last 3 games. Four games for homestand, and they closed it off in style after losing to Dallas with 3 straight wins over the Blues, the Ducks, and the Flyers. So I'm going to pass here.
Guys, make sure to check out the Betting Edge today. Drew Martin and Rob Vino joining me, both from Sports Memo. We're going to talk prime time hoops games and both the AFC games. Dave, it seems like a small price for the New York Islanders at minus 125 in what is extensively a home game against New Jersey. Blackwood's in net.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see the New York Islanders start going on a little bit of a run now after that nice win last night. I like the Islanders.
I lean Devils, and the reason I lean Devils here is not that I like New Jersey, but I don't like this spot for the Islanders. That was a really tense game last night. Hard fought 1-0 battle, and this is a letdown spot to me for the Islanders, coming off a win against an elite team, or Colorado's at least in that.
Well, I think they're the top 3 team in the league.
Yeah, well, so to me, that's big game going against Softy on the road. Don't like those spots.
Carb?
These teams played, the 2nd of January. Devils won in New York 2-1, and it was an even game. It's not like the Devils went in there and stole that game. They played them very well, and that came on the heels of the Islanders winning, 2 pretty good games in Washington and Minnesota. So
right,
it's just a line where you look at and you're like, wow, 120. I got to take the Islanders. They knocked off Colorado, and then
It's not only about that, Carm. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league.
No, I get it. Yes, they are.
When they stick to their system.
But it's also a team that you're looking at a short sample over the last 3 games where they've looked better defensively. I'm still looking at that team from a week and a half ago that was allowing 5 and 6 goals a game over a stretch of 5 or 6 games. So I'm not totally convinced now. And on the second half of a back-to-back, I just don't want to lay a price with them right now.
It's the fishy line of the night.
There you go.
It is. I mean, minus 120. Give me the Islanders. You know how those go.
Okay, boys. We got to get the show done in the next couple of minutes. I got Drew and Rob Vino literally waiting on Skype to tape the Betting Edge. Detroit plus 146 against a Montreal Canadiens team that's just in a complete free fall.
So you can't bet the Canadiens because they stink right now, and you can't bet the Red Wings because they're the dead Wings, and you can't play them at all.
I like the over, Dave.
So pass. Okay.
Carm?
I'm going to go under, and it's because I've said.
I'm giving you the
only
finger,
because I've
Carm.
said- Okay.
You can't see it, nor can anyone else, but it's happening in my brain.
Anyways, I did say Detroit is playing better defensively, and you got to start looking at some unders. They're still losing, but they're playing better. Hey, they shut out the Sharks 2-0. I like the under there. Stars game win under. The Hawks game win under. Tampa win under. I think it's 4 straight unders for them. So I'm going to go under for 5 straight.
St. Louis minus close to 200 against the San Jose Sharks team. Dave, I got nothing.
Yeah, boy, the Blues are coming off. Blues are coming off a game that did not make them happy against Las Vegas. Normally, I like to go against teams coming out of Las Vegas, but I think the Blues might be in a really bad mood, and the Sharks might be demoralized off what happened the other night at Washington. I mean, they're up 4-2 with 45 seconds to go in the game, and they lost the game. And that's a fragile team right now. This might not be a bad -1 spot on the Blues.
Carm?
Yes. Dave, somebody's girlfriend went all in on Washington in that game.
Mine. She laid the entire bank account. Well, her entire betting account she laid on Washington against St. Louis.
It's a winner.
The screaming and yelling in my house was just at an all-time high. I like Calgary against Chicago -130, Dave.
I lead Blackhawks here.
Dave, I'm giving you the finger.
Okay,
it's in my head.
I'm not going to play it. I don't think, but and I'll just make this real quick. I'm sorry Brent Seabrook got hurt and is out for the year, but they're a better team with him not on the ice.
Carm, what do you like in this one?
I like Calgary here, mainly because in looking at that, and I had them against Minnesota the other day as one of my Wager Talk plays, but I see them kind of turning a corner. They look to be playing a little bit better. And much like, and I'm not saying they're Tampa Bay, but much like Tampa Bay, and this is a team that won the West last season. I think they might be gearing up for a second half run.
I agree with you, Carm. I think Calgary's a real buy team right now. Dave, Columbus, here's what we know. If they're up 2-1 with 2 minutes to go, they let in a goal and go to overtime. If they're down 2-1 with 2 minutes to go, they score a goal and go into overtime. So with that said, I like Columbus.
Well, that didn't happen last night because they were up a goal with 2 minutes to go last night, and they scored in the empty net, and that was the end of that.
Okay, fair enough. But this game's got overtime written all over it. 2-2 going into overtime. I like the under, and I like overtime plus around 300.
You might have a debuting goaltender tonight for Columbus. Got to get a confirmation on that. But Merzlikins, I don't think he's going to play back-to-back. So that means Columbus is going to their number 3, who would I assume be somebody who hasn't played. So I'm going to stay out of this till I know who's playing goal.
Carm, end this because Dave is a hard stop 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, you know what? You mentioned 2-1. The last 2 games between these two has finished 2-1. If you want to take 2-1 for either team winning, it's 11-1 odds. So you can always look at it that way. But But I will take the Anaheim Ducks tonight, laying a $1.25.
He's Carmine, the other guy, the old man, the legend, Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Dave, we'll see you on Thursday. Carm will find another time for you this week because I'm sure somebody will cancel. Love you both. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Subtle.
What, Dave?
I said that was subtle.
Yeah, well, what can you do? Be good, boys. Thanks for doing this show.
Later.
See you guys.
Take care,
Have a
guys.
nice one.
Good luck.